Okay, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back to the stage AIDA Chairman Paul Ritchie.
Please continue eating, enjoying your lunch, and we'll try to keep you on a good time schedule. As I prepared to pass on the chairman's gavel to AIADA's 2018 chairman, I felt nothing but confidence in the bright future of our association. Brad Strong is a third-generation dealer and a great example of the coexistence of hard-nosed realism and the can-do optimism that is unique to auto retailers. In his stores in Salt Lake City or in Washington, D.C., he knows how to get things done. Let's learn more about AIADA's 2018 chairman, Brad Strong.
Members of AIADA, with sights on another significant year.
Our new chair takes the wheel.
I'm actually a third-generation Volkswagen dealer. Our family's had Volkswagen since 1955. Working and growing up in the business, doing all the departments from detail to service to parts, F&I, management, it was something that I really fell in love with and really don't know what I'd be doing if not. I just love it. It always changes with new models and new people, and I'm more of a leader. I like building good teams and encourage all my employees to work together as a team.
Which includes making sure that the next generation is prepared to lead too.
My three boys, they work hard. I mean, they're there till 10 o'clock at night and on Saturdays and holidays, and I think they need to find something that they enjoy to do and just get dedicated and get behind it and do it the best they can.
Now that sounds like the motivation that makes AIADA such an effective organization.
And the way Brad will help strengthen it for the long haul.
We really need to get more dealers involved with AIDA and get them in front of their legislators and explain to them what laws they pass affect our bottom line. There's many ways to get involved. You can do emails, a lot of them tweet and text. You can call the office, so you don't always have to fly into Washington. You can do a lot from your office. You can write letters. There's many, many ways to contact your legislators. Meet with them, even invite them into your dealerships to see what investment we make with our own money into these buildings and facilities. They think it's all paid for by the manufacturer.
Brad's target is clear. Not enough knowledge.
And not enough teamwork.
They have no unity on the Hill. They can't even get along in their own parties. And so to try to get them to be unified on an effort that affects us is going to be very difficult.
Maybe for some people, but for AIADA,
Brad is an unbelievable unifier. He's a natural-born leader.
He really learns the issues, and then he has a great way of presenting that to a group and unifying them together to get the job done. He's the right guy for the job in 2018.
I think the reason why they picked me to be the incoming chair is I'm not real bullheaded, and so I'm just an easy guy to get along with.
Brad is the right person. He's a strong person. It's just like they picked the right name for him. His parents did good. Please don't put that on the screen.
ladies and gentlemen, our natural-born leader, Brad Strong.
Congratulations, brother. This is yours. You might need that for a weapon as a All right. Take care.
Thank you, Paul, for that wonderful introduction. Paul's chairmanship over the past year, through good times and what he calls interesting times, has been for me a master class in how to lead. He never lost faith in our association or the ability of the dealers to change bad legislation. With Paul at the helm, we accomplished the impossible, killing the bat while preserving tax reform. During my time as chairman, I promise I will work to maintain the energy and the grit he brought to this position and continue his legacy of engagement. Let's have another round of applause for Paul Ritchie. As a third-generation dealer, it's sometimes hard for me to pinpoint when my childhood ended and my career began. Before I could reach the tops of the cars my dad sold, I was washing them on the weekend. While other kids spent their summers at the pool, I spent mine as a service advisor. Selling cars is in my blood, and I wouldn't have it any other way. As many of you know, family business don't just last 3 and now 4 generations without a lot of hard work and close and dedicated clan. I would like to take this opportunity to thank my family for supporting me here today, just as they do every day. My partner, brother, Blake is here, as are our parents, Dave and Merle, my wife and best friend, Santa, and our children, Audie and Jenny, his wife, Walker and Chelsea, his wife, Jackson and his wife, Natalie, and our daughter, Bailey. Many, many thanks to all of you for your support. I would also like to take this opportunity again to thank Bert and Fritz. As Cody said earlier, dealers like these are the lifeblood of this association. They protect and advance the industry in ways that don't get a lot of fanfare and attention, and they don't do it for themselves. They do it for all of us. We're going to need a lot of dealers like them over the next year. The challenges we face are many, but together we are mighty and we can accomplish the impossible. You know, my dad started selling Volkswagens in 1955. Over the years, I've watched him grapple with many of the same issues of trade that we face today. Misguided efforts by Washington to control the free market and give some companies advantages over others. It didn't work then, and it won't work now. In fact, it inspired a group of VW dealers to establish AIDA in 1970. I've heard from a lot of you that it feels like politicians view our businesses and our customers as bottomless piggy banks. They have no sense in how price sensitive this industry is, and just how easily their tax and tariff schemes could send annual auto sales into a tailspin, costing thousands of jobs. Dealers today are the face of the international nameplate industry. We operate 9,600 franchises in every corner of the country. We employ 577,000 American workers and compensate them with a payroll of $32 billion a year. And that doesn't include 527,000 indirect jobs we support, jobs that wouldn't even exist without our stores. And listen up, because this is very important. As of this quarter, our brands built more cars here in the United States than the Detroit companies combined. As you know, any rise in cost will be tough to swallow for our customers. So now is our chance to push back against all of these barriers of trade, to work to protect NAFTA, which has played a key role in America's manufacturing renaissance. We have the numbers and the facts on our side. Our stores and our customers are located in every single community in the United States. Our representatives care about us, and that's why it's imperative that we share our stories with them. Trade wars have real consequences, and unfortunately for us, they can have real casualties. Last year, AIDA members took their work to the next level on behalf of a grateful industry. This year, we will likely need to do it all over again. So if you're ready to lend a hand, take your phone out of your pocket or your purse right now and text AIADA jobs to 52886. Go ahead, take out your phones now. We'd like to have you help us out here. Text AIDA jobs to 52886. By doing this, you'll be joining our grassroots team, and we'll be able to reach out to you when we need you. We didn't start this trade fight, but together, we are ready, willing, and able to end it. Thank you as always for your membership and your support.
Another hand for our 2018 chairman, Brad Strong. Clearly, we're in very, very capable hands for the coming year. AIEDA's annual Lifetime Achievement Award was created because dealers like you are such an important part of the fabric of our country. We've heard a lot about that today. You provide untold support for your employees, communities, and our industry itself. And to recognize an outstanding dealer who embodies the very best our industry has to offer, our board named our annual award after legendary mentor, St. Louis dealer, Dave Mungenast. Now, Dave ran an unbelievably successful group of dealerships, but all of us remember what he did for all of those around him, his employees, his community, his industry. This year's recipient of the Mungenast Award certainly fits that mold. Let's watch the video.
The David F. Mungenast Sr. Lifetime Achievement Award, established by AIADA to recognize excellence in business acumen, community involvement, and selfless dedication to the industry.
To introduce this year's award winner, Mike McGrath of the McGrath Automotive Group throughout Chicagoland. We talked with Michael Lindsay, president of Lindsay Motors in Alexandria, Virginia.
I met Mike McGrath 25 years ago when we both joined the 20 group together, and I owe a significant amount of my success to him.
Mary Hannigan, executive director of AFIT PAC.
Mike has been a founder-level contributor at AFIT PAC for 22 years. He served as our chairman for the 2012 election cycle and took us to a new level of fundraising.
And AIADA president, Cody Lusk.
I got to know Mike, over 20 years ago when he first became a Lexus dealer, as a matter of fact, and has been a true role model for the industry on how to kind of be anything and everything to the auto sector and also your community.
When I think of Mike and Christina McGrath, the first thing I think about is their commitment to the city of Chicago and the role they play as ambassadors for the city they love.
Mike gave me a tremendous amount of business and professional advice. A lot of the advice I got on dating, and thus personal advice from his wife, Christina.
Mike realized that nobody gets where they are without help. But the industry, he served in so many different capacities.
In every measurable category, Mike is the personification of what a successful car dealer should be.
And an industry leader at every level.
I think Mike's greatest skill is to look everybody in the eye and come up with a solution. That's the Mike that I know, which is also the Dave Mungenast that I knew.
Ladies and gentlemen, winner of the 2018 Lifetime Achievement Award, Mike McGrath.
Mike, I know you want to say a few words, but I think I kind of surprised you when I called you and told you you were this year's recipient. Well, your family also wanted to surprise you today, and so they put together their own little video that we're going to watch together.
Oh. Hey, Dad, congratulations on your Lifetime Achievement Award. You've been a dealer since 21 for over 50 years. It's an amazing feat if you think about it. You've left an amazing impact on the Chicagoland area with your reputation and way of doing business. You've afforded many opportunities for all of our employees at all of our dealerships. The charitable contributions that you and Christina have given back to the Chicagoland area are second to none. We look forward to celebrating with you today. Enjoy your day.
First time I met Mike, he told me that the secret of his success was due to the people he employed. He told me having happy employees led to happy customers. I've worked for Mike for over 11 years, and I've seen this in action. His employees are very happy. His customers are even happier. We've seen employees that have made it to retirement, and we see customers that return over and over again to buy cars from McGrath. The McGrath name in Chicago is golden, and it's due to Mike's efforts and his passion of the auto industry.
You know, there's not a day that goes by where my dad doesn't engage somebody, an employee, by asking them something personal about them or their lives. Nothing about what's going on with business, but wanting to know what's going on at home or what their interests are, or talk to them about something that they have in common. And I think it makes everybody really feel engaged and part of something, you know, that's bigger than just the business. So Dad, I want you to know you've been my hero, you've been my closest advisor, and most importantly, you've been my dad. You've showed me the way to be a successful businessman in this industry, this ever-changing industry, and I couldn't have a better consultant in the world than you. I love you. I'm proud of everything that you've accomplished. I'm proud of everything that you've done to provide for us, communities, and all those that you've given back to. And I want you to know that I will always live in your footsteps, and I will always work hard to fill your big shoes. I love you, Dad.
Thank you, kids. Appreciate it. And Christina, my wife, has been my big supporter for the last 23 years, so 25 years actually. So I appreciate that. You know, I'm deeply honored and humbled to receive this award. Actually, David Munganess Sr. was one of my mentors, you know, when I became a import dealer and out of St. Louis, and we really miss him. I mean, his class, his ability to run his businesses were just unparalleled. Plus, he was a stuntman in Hollywood, so he had quite a career. It's kind of ironic that, you know, I started my career back in 1970 as a domestic dealer and represented General Motors, Ford, and Chrysler. And in the late 80s, I sold all my dealerships and determined to get into the import business. And I did. I opened up my first Lexus store in 1991, and then followed a few years later in 1994, I bought an Acura dealership, which my brother Gary also owned, and I was a little jealous, but so anyway, he bought Acura and Lexus. But 1995 brought kind of a change in my career. 95 was when President Clinton intended to impose a 100% tariff on Japanese luxury cars. And it's also the year I met my wife, at the time dated her, Christina, and we were scheduled to get married in 1995. Well, the 100% tariff would have put me out of business, obviously, and I saw my business career flashing before my eyes. And I immediately realized that I couldn't just sit back and watch this happen without getting involved. So for the next 2 months, I flew to Washington just about every week to lobby congressmen and get involved in some of the publicity and stuff about, you know, trying to defeat this proposal of the tariff. Ironically, it was also the year I was going to get married to Christina, and I'll never forget her saying, "Does this mean we're not going to get married?" And I said, "No, it means we're not going to get married in Hawaii. We get married to the Justice of the Peace." Fortunately, it was defeated, but it started my involvement with AIADA and subsequent to that, AFIT-PAC, in the fundraising, the non-connected political action committee. And, you know, I've been involved ever since. I've been on the Board of Governors, I've been chairman of it. I've realized that it's a moving target, that we can never just forget about everything and say, oh, it's all going to be fine from here on out. Here we are this year in that I was involved in the border adjustment tax, with Peter Roscom, our congressman. He's head of the tax committee and the Ways and Means. And I had lunch with him a couple times, convincing him how horrible this is going to be for America, for car dealers, every type, imports as well as domestics. Anyway, it was effective, and they finally backed off it, although that was the cornerstone of this tax adjustment last year. It was this border adjustment tax, and we kind of dodged a bullet. And here we are. Who would guess with a Republican president, that we'd be right back in it? Because quite honestly, if the truth is known, the Republicans have been our protectors of free automotive trade, free trade in general. And we always kind of leaned on them to support us during difficult times. And here we have a Republican president proposing this, and we don't know how it's going to play out yet, but I do know this. We have to stay vigilant and stay involved. And I know I will be behind the scenes and proactively. I had to put in a pitch for AFID PAC because, nothing happens in Washington without donations and support, financial support of the people that are running for office, because they're constantly running. Every 2 years is a new election. And so through the leadership of many great dealers that I've been affiliated with, and Mary Hannigan, who's been the head of AFID PAC, we've raised millions and millions of dollars to donate to the people that support free automotive trade. And I'm very, very proud of that. It's supported this whole community here. And, I know I'm preaching to the choir to some degree because most of the people in this room are proactive in supporting import sales and free trade. And but I have to say, the battle's never over. It's never ending. It's ongoing, and it's going to continue. And I think I'm grateful to be involved in such a great organization that supports us so well, because we probably wouldn't be here if it wasn't for that, to be honest with you. Anyway, thank you so much, for everybody's support and the Munganez family for this fabulous award. I really appreciate it. So does my family over here. We really are honored. So thank you for all your support.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you. How about another hand for Mike McGrath?
And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back to the stage Brad Strong.
It's no secret that Volkswagen has faced a number of challenges over the past few years. My family has been with the company almost as long as it's been operating in the United States. But we remain confident in its future, thanks to leaders like our keynote speaker. Henrik J. Wepken has been the Chief Executive Officer and President of Volkswagen Group of America since April 2016. He has seen the company through some difficult days and worked closely with retailers and customers in order to restore trust and maintain clear lines of communication. His background as an industrial engineer has served him well in large-scale problem solving, and I know we're all eager to hear his perspective on the industry today. Please join me in a warm welcome to welcome Volkswagen President and CEO, Henrik Wepken.
Good afternoon, everybody. How are you? Very good. Yeah, I'm so honored to speak to such a privileged group of great dealers in this country. And it was kind of, Brett, it was unfair. You stole my story. Volkswagen was basically, with a bunch of few dealers, founding this association back in the 1970s. It was at that time called American Importers Automotive Dealer Association, importers. And we heard today a lot about importers. All these international car companies in this country really are industrializing and generating a lot of jobs here in America. Only Volkswagen directly 7,000 with the dealers, 45,000 with all the suppliers, more than 120,000 job cards only with the Volkswagen Group in this country. And we share this, of course, also as a car company with a lot of political leaders. I personally met several times Wilbur Ross. And yeah, I made that point very clear that, you know, all these big investments in this country, in the Deep South, for instance, the past 20 years, BMW in Spartanburg, Mercedes-Benz in Tuscaloosa, Hyundai in Montgomery, Alabama, Volkswagen in Chattanooga, Tennessee, all those investments, all those jobs would not have been, you know, coming to reality without NAFTA, without a strong supply base also from Mexico. So NAFTA is really important to, you know, to get these investment justified also for the future. And I have been in teams evaluating these kind of business cases, and sometimes it's really a tipping point. Somebody said it earlier, our industry is really very, very sensitive, and 1% of a business case point could mean this factory will go to Czech Republic or somewhere else in the world. So it's really important that you guys, together with all your Congress people, all the politicians in the country, keep on pushing that point. 3 weeks ago, I was invited at the Republican Governor Association in Nashville, Tennessee, by Governor Haslam. In his residence, also as a special guest, was Vice President Pence, and I had a chance also to discuss this with him. I really also, same as you, as an industrial guy, tried to make clear there is no winner with protectionism. There is no winner. Free trade is what we need for this industry. Yeah, I'm here to you to speak about Volkswagen, and Brad has announced it or introduced me with a challenge we face. In fact, we basically are facing 3 issues. First, we have, of course, a responsibility to fix the TDI disappointment. Second, fixing our business model. Frankly speaking, also before the crisis of TDI, the Volkswagen brand was not in a very good shape in this country. Yeah, we didn't have enough SUVs, the cars always a little bit too expensive. So to really make sure that with our dear dealer partners, shaping a business model for the future was also something necessary to do. And shaping the future, what comes next? These 3 things all together I want to speak about a little bit today, and mentioning in my 30 years of industrial experience, I never faced a period of 2 years where managing all these 3 things simultaneously at the same time was really a challenge. And I can tell you, it's also very exciting, and I have a great team. Some of my team members are with us here today. I'm proud on my team that we really went, I believe, pretty successfully so far through that important time. Very quickly to address TDI. Volkswagen had a diesel powertrain share of 25% before the September 2015 shake-up for the company. We promised to bring all cars back, buy them back, fix them, and resell them into the market, or give the customer the option to keep the car and get it fixed and keep on enjoying this TDI powertrain. We, in the meantime, in the history of the automotive industry, made really this unbelievable number of 450,000 cars getting back and fixing them. And you know, it's really something where the company needed to build up an extra machine, extra group of people to manage all that. So it was a phenomenal achievement, but also only possible because our loyal dealer body supported us on this one. And without that dealer body, we would not have been able to manage this huge challenge. And I always, and with my team, we always said to regain trust, of course, is all the product and future momentum coming up. But the second strong pillar is to get this thing quickly behind us. And we did also all the legal settlements with the customers, by the way, also with our dealer body, with a lot of stakeholders, with the government, with the Department of Justice. We did this all in 9 months, getting it behind us. We are not through the fixing process yet, but legally we are nearly done. And if you compare these kind of industry shake-ups with other industries, sometimes taking 4 or 5 years until they are through, we are pretty proud, and we were always convinced that it needs to be done quickly because we are a consumer brand and we want to have it out of the media and out of the observation from the public. Fixing the business model. If you look at the sales numbers of Volkswagen back to the late 60s, early 70s, yeah, we used to have an unbelievable market share back then, selling nearly 600,000 cars just with the Beetle and the microbus. Heritage cars, microbus. I think a lot of babies in America produced in that car, right? So it's unbelievable that with just 2 cars, this brand was able to fascinate so many American people, and many people bought back then those cars because they wanted to be special and differentiate themselves. And I believe that this special thing is still existing in the brand. And going through the recent decades, we never really had a clue how to get it done, how to get back to these former high numbers. And of course, a lot of senior executives before me told this strategy story, and some of you may well say, okay, we heard this before, but I believe we have now an unbelievable time slot, a window in our history of the brand where really many things are now understood, and we really try to understand much more what this market is about, what the customers are really demanding, what the dealers are telling us. And let me lead you through a little bit what we have in mind. First of all, we decided we need to get a stronger autonomy. We need to have, as a Volkswagen company, an independence from headquarters Germany. And you have to understand, this company built out of a bug, and then having this phenomenal success of this brand over the decades in Europe, making money, having happy dealer in Europe, everything really successful. Copying this business model to China in the 80s, basically China was mobilized by Volkswagen. And generations of executives in headquarters always said, why don't these Americans understand how to buy cars, right? So they were so persistent and so convinced how to teach Americans to buy Volkswagens that they never really understood the demands of this market. And the first thing with my arrival, we decided we have to take the opportunity of a whole region, United States, Canada, and Mexico, and bundle all our activities we have in the region really with a strong governance in this region. Besides engineering, we have great engineering centers in Mexico, in California. We have this fantastic production site in Chattanooga, Tennessee, also a huge plant in Mexico. We have sales and marketing organizations, procurement, very important. 70% of the volume or value of a car is basically sourced by our procurement specialists. And having all these functions under one governance really to shape the destiny of our brand ourselves, I think was a very important precondition. Then looking what is our portfolio about. We have now in the compact sedan side the Jetta, which we announced in New York, in the Detroit Auto Show in January, the successor, high volume, very important car. We have the Tiguan, which is a stunning A SUV, the largest, one of the largest in its compact segment. We have on the B side the Passat, which we launched the factory with, and also our just recently launched mid-sized SUV, the Atlas. Really a fantastic car, just voted as the best car of America by cars.com, and we received a lot of coverage by media, and also the dealers love it. The sales is doing fine. I come to this in a moment. Looking at the sedans, yes, it's a segment under pressure, but we believe a full-line automaker needs also on those large segments good competitive products. The Passat will get a great successor. The Jetta, we announced, the media is really very positive. And looking into the overall strategy, we wanted to make sure that these 4 core models really come in the right positioning. We made sure that the pricing really is not much more to the sweet spot now. We give this, together with our dealers, the right support also in terms of incentives. Now, with the governance of also engineering and production in our region, I can shift the resources much better than if somebody in headquarters try to mix a cocktail. We do this ourselves right now, and also then bringing this car with a best-in-class warranty, the 6 years bumper-to-bumper warranty, America's best, is, I think, something we wanted to make sure that these 4 cars, we deliver a proof point that reliability and total cost of ownership is not an issue anymore. It's a real safe choice with that full warranty. So to get this together, 4 strong core products and a strong warranty commitment, I think was the first big important step to regain trust on the core model side. The Atlas and Tiguan I mentioned earlier received great reviews. I think with those 2 cars we really nailed it. We really showed the company is listening and understanding, trying to understand the American market. The Atlas has a fantastic third row access, because it's very difficult. The third seat row is basically on the rear axis, so there's architecturally not enough space, and the engineers did a great job to give this car super comfort access. I talked to a lot of journalists. I'm 6'4", and I with another colleague, we could really ride in comfort back in the third seat row. It's not a compromise. It's not a child seat compromise. It's really a real great 7-seater. It also has a super front visibility. All these soccer moms and smaller people who want to have a great front visibility, I looked at the data. It's best in class to have a great front visibility. The A-pillars are super slim because of the high strength and steel. The engineers did a great job there. So there are a lot of features in the car which fit very well to this market. The Tiguan long wheelbase, exactly the same. It's especially for this market, an extended wheelbase so that you have more comfort in the second seat row, also for the trunk, more space. I think with those 2 cars, it's kind of a proof point. We really take the demands of our American customers very seriously. And if you look at the pure numbers, last year, 2017, the whole industry was down 1.8%. Volkswagen was up 5.2%. And I have to mention that 17 was the first year without TDI. So we also compensated the 25% volume share of TDI with conventional powertrains. And I believe that was so important for me and my team, that we proved that Volkswagen, of course, is much more than just TDI. It has a lot of genes and heritage and also very powerful combustion engine powertrains without TDI. And looking in the beginning of the year, we are also seeing in January, February, again, a growth of 5.6%, and 18 being the first full year of Atlas and Tiguan available, I'm very optimistic that we will keep that pace and potentially even grow further than this number. And we are not done yet. We decided, beside these 4 core models, the Volkswagen brand has, especially on the SUV side, beside the Atlas and beside the Tiguan, lots of space for a second B SUV, for a second compact SUV. So last week, together with Governor Haslam in Chattanooga, I announced the arrival of a second B SUV. It will start production next year in Chattanooga. And next week, Wednesday, in the New York Auto Show, we're going to show that car to the public. And you will see a very stunning, family-oriented, very sportish, strong presence, another real American midsize SUV where our dealers can be very happy about that Volkswagen is investing now into a full-line, family-friendly, all-wheel drive brand with the right price point. Continuing that pattern, We have to shape the future. The third big initiative is electrification. And this is something I would like to speak a little bit longer about. I know America is big. America, long distances, charging infrastructure, etc., question marks. We believe electric mobility will be a big part of the future. There is no question it will come. You can debate when it will come, but it will come. And to make sure that we not again fall short like the SUVs the brand didn't bring, we want to early enough invest in this technology so when the tipping point arrives that we have the right lineup. We announced back in August last year, the microbus is coming back in Pebble Beach. It's a fantastic heritage product, but heritage is not enough. You have to make a modern interpretation. It will be fully electric, fully connected, has all the preparations for much more automotive driving coming up. And we also then announced in LA Auto Show last November a beautiful ASUV full electric car will arrive. We call it right now the T-Cross. It's a fantastic outside dimension like a Tiguan, but you know the inside dimension are basically one class higher because a lot of architectural advantages are possible if you have a zero compromise approach. I come to this in a second. Yeah, why doesn't electric mobility work up to now? I think we have to give Elon Musk and Tesla a great credit how he well developed in the premium segments a very good business share. I think he took quite a lot of business away from BMW and Mercedes and Lexus and Audi for these $80,000+ cars. So on the premium side, Elon Musk I see him as an industry pioneer. But why did it not get successful in the volume business yet? It's infrastructure. Everybody is afraid, especially if you're a little bit on the countryside, what happens if the energy is gone, right? It's range. Up to now, most of the electric vehicles we see out there have 150, 180 miles range. If it's cold in the winter or air conditioning on, potentially even less. So range is a big limitation up to now. And cost. Yeah, Tesla right now is a very expensive car. And also on the volume side, those cars are more expensive than conventional cars. And all these three things, why electric mobility is not working now, will be gone. It will be gone. I try to explain this to you. If you look at a conventional car, engine gone, the exhaust system gone, transmission gone, you can completely generate you put the battery as a chocolate bar into the base, get great driving dynamics, and so easy is electric mobility. So the genes of the architecture of e-cars are really in favor of customer value. You can, with an extended wheelbase, you get a more driving dynamic, better car. You have no more tunnel in the middle. The kids can slide over very easily. You take bigger wheels, which designers and people love to look at. You have a better, command seating position. So a lot of advantages only because the combustion engine, the gearbox, and the exhaust system is gone. And we announced those two cars, and to give you a little feeling how they look like while you are on the road, and this is our prototype which we drove with the journalists back in August. I was sitting in there together with them. You cannot believe how many thumbs up were from the outside looking at this car. Only Volkswagen can do this new interpretation of the microbus. Really great looking, super proportions, a lot of customer value. You can put your surfboard in, you can put the chairs against each other so that you have a kind of a lounge feeling. And it will be very friendly. It will be very, car industry right now, in many observations, these car are, emissions, they are noisy, congestions. I believe the future of the car industry is right in front of us because of this. There will be not so much noise anymore, not so many exhausts anymore. All the autonomous or the partial autonomous features will cause less accidents. The car industry has a bright future. I'm 100% convinced it's getting better. If you look at the ASUV ID Cross, we call this whole family ID. It is a car which really fits in urban mobility. It's great looking. These cars will look stunning. Up to now in the volume segment, most of the cars are kind of a little bit awkward looking. The design of these cars will be great. The designers have now a lot of opportunities to shape a lot of customer functions into this concept. If we go on, we announced for United States the ID Cross, we announced the ID Bus, and there will be a whole family arriving. And this is the beauty of a large car company, Volkswagen being the largest car company in the world. We have scalability, where we don't have to get the business case done only for North America. We do this globally. And we are a car company with our dealers. We can scale the volume very fast so that also business economics come down. So the cars will get great. The cars will have great range. And electrical infrastructure is also developing. Volkswagen only, also as a commitment with our disappointment to the government, we are investing $2 billion in pure American electrical charging infrastructure. So you're going to see on the highways, in the metropoles, a lot of charging stations, not only for Volkswagen. Of course, it is open for all brands, and also other industries are pushing hard for this. So we all look with a little skeptical eye on electric mobility, but absolutely, it's unstoppable. It will come. It will also change a lot of the business models for the dealers, of course. And sure, we all read this in the newspaper. These cars need less maintenance. What about the operations in the dealerships? This car doesn't need oil. What about the gone oil business? These cars have less accidents. What about the fixing in the shop? So, of course, these are really open questions. We have to address them. Myself, with the Volkswagen Dealer Council, Product and National Dealer Council, we traveled through the valley last year. We went to the tech companies. We looked at the future of retail. We looked together at the technology coming up. And we want to shape the future of the Volkswagen business model and the dealership retail business model. We want to shape that together. And we can do that. There will be a lot of changes, and in changes there are also a lot of opportunities. And if we do it in an open and really mindful matter, I believe that with this great advantage of a strong dealer body, we have a differentiating advantage. My last slide shows this is not the end electric mobility. The technology is really going a lot into automotive driving. We invested heavily in our R&D facility in the valley south of San Francisco and Belmont, where people from the Volkswagen brand, from the Audi brand, from the group are really scouting what's going on in the valley. Actually, car development in the future, to a big extent, will happen in Silicon Valley. So the conventional design in Wolfsburg or in Detroit, sure, there will be strong, important partners of the future, but a lot of future stuff will happen in the software industry. And they are all interested to get into our business model. And we are, having disadvantages, not having the competence of Silicon Valley companies. So the race is on. Who is faster capturing the competencies of the other side, or the other side of the future development? And we believe Volkswagen has a pretty strong chance, a very good chance, as the largest car company in the world, to really capture this competence of the future of innovation. And therefore, if I would not be employed slave. If I would be a business guy like you, I would invest my money into a Volkswagen dealership. Yeah, it's really the future. The future is in front of us, I promise. Yeah, this was my few words to Volkswagen. I believe, struggling and tough times, but we are very positive, optimistically looking into the future, and I think we addressed exactly the right points, and most importantly, we want to really understand the needs of our American dealers, our American customers, and want to shape the future together with you. Thank you very much for listening.
How about another hand for Henrik Bepken? We appreciate it. Clearly, Volkswagen's got an exciting future, Henrik, and we appreciate it. And you probably have a few people interested in maybe one of those franchises. Once more, listen, we really appreciate you coming out with us today. As Paul mentioned, not only did we live an interesting time last year, we've got a lot of interesting times ahead, and we're going to need all of you, and we're going to need your help this year. We're going to need your help in the years ahead. Thank you again, and safe travels.